Hello, friends. Welcome to the Existentialist. This is Ojas. I'm an existential coach. In this series, in Conversations with, we have candid, interesting conversations with people who have dared to follow an unconventional path in following their purpose, something which is greater than the everyday work and catered towards the greater good. Today, I have with me a friend, Aaditya Mehta. He is a business analyst by profession and a podcaster by passion. So, really happy to have you, Aditya. Welcome.
Well, I'm pretty happy to be here, to be very honest, because this is my first time on YouTube. I have done tons of podcast episode now on the audio channels, but this is my first time on YouTube, and most of the times I'm on the other side asking questions. But today I'm feeling exactly what my guest must be feeling. I guess so. It's wonderful. I'm pretty excited about it.
Great. Happy to hear that. Welcome once again. That was actually going to be my first question. How does it feel being on the other side? But you answered it already. Aditya is a fantastic podcaster and an interviewer. Uh, I have interviewed on his podcast as well. I felt that episode went so well. I was able to learn about myself. It was a hit with the people. Aditya personally sent a word saying it was good. And I felt it would make so much sense to bring him on to this channel because he's also been doing some super interesting work, and I really love the way he's uh, being able to juggle both of these areas, which really is something that people struggle with these days. And when you're following your passion, oftentimes work comes in the way, life comes in the way. So I really wanted to learn about that from Aditya. So yes, let's get into it. What got you into podcasting?
Well, it's an interesting story of a lockdown, and many people must have started in lockdown as well, right? They might have started with cooking, or some might have started with painting. I started with podcasting. Okay, so why podcasting? So before getting into a business analyst job, I would say in the corporate industry, before that I was a tutor. Okay, I was teaching students. I was doing public speaking related to personal development, designing, programming, and many more things, right? And during the lockdown, I really missed that thing in my mind, like I want to do public speaking, and there was nothing I can do about, right? I mean, virtual things are really better. I do appreciate that, but I don't feel like, there is a personal touch to it. I can't, get into the conversation really. And so I was like really missing it, that I want to do public speaking. And so there was this app which was known as Open Talk. That was the first app where I went and started my speech, and it was a live podcast thing. So I can just get on the speaker panel, okay, and start speaking. People who are listening can, get into the chatting area, and they can chat about things and everything. Any one person can come up, and they can ask questions and everything like that. And it was a wonderful app, but it got shut down. I mean, it didn't
Oh,
went well. I don't know what happened, but it didn't I couldn't continue with that. And so I messaged the owner of this application as well, that what happened, like why did you stop that? And he was like, we weren't earning enough revenue, and that's the reason we had to shut it down. But all the best to you. And I'm like, okay, now that's a challenge. So the next thing what I did was, I talked about this to one of my friend, and she said to me that there is one app called anchor.fm, and you can go over there and you can start. I'm like, why not? Like, let's just give it a try. I have given try to Open Talk. Let's give it a try over here. So I started with the earphone and a mic of 20 rupees, which gets in Mumbai local trains.
Wow.
Okay, so my first season was with that. Okay, and fortunately I got some great reviews, and I think that's when I thought that I should continue this, because I did this with minimum amount of effort, and still I'm getting some great reviews out of it. Maybe this is what I am born for, and I should be going on with it. And then onwards, there's no stopping to it.
Wonderful. Thank you for answering so elaborately and sharing your story behind it. So, what I picked up from your story is that you had a thought, I want to do public speaking, and you had an idea, you found an avenue, this platform, this app, and you just went for it, right? So many people
Right.
get stuck in the planning stage. How do I find an avenue for public speaking? What event can I find? When will I make my first move? Am I prepared? You did not really think, you just went for it. And I feel that is quite inspiring for anybody watching. And then when the app shut down, then you found a different way. You were open to just adapting, finding something else. Another thing I picked up was just being very, very minimalistic, bare bones, and just making a start, right? And it doesn't matter if you have expensive equipment or you have everything in place, you just make a start. And I think it was popular from the beginning. And not sure if you all know, this podcast is super popular right now. It has growing audience all the time. We're going to ask about all of those aspects, how he was able to grow his audience. But before that, I want to ask, uh, why personality development in particular, and what is it? How do you relate to that?
Well, that's an interesting question. So I had three areas in my mind. Okay, the first one was designing, the second one was programming, and the third one was about personal development. Now, when I look at the other two topics, that is designing and programming, the thing was, it was just for a niche market, like a very small amount of people who are following that thing. So, but personal development was something, okay, which you can actually apply each and every aspect of, or each and every field which you go into, right? Like even an architecture, programmer, designer, everyone will
Right.
need personal development tips always, right? And I have been taking lectures about it as well. So I was like, let's go for this topic, and it has like a huge audience as well. And to be very honest, I would say that there were few things in personal development which I always wanted to learn. But being from the family, I couldn't afford that in my early age as well, during my college as well. So I couldn't afford those things. Like there was a beautiful course of communication skills, soft skill development, and it was costing a huge amount for my family, and I couldn't afford it, to be very honest. And I thought, like, if I couldn't afford it, there are so many people who would want to learn these things,
Right.
but they don't have the proper mentor for that. And if they do find a proper mentor, they might not afford it. So I'm
Right.
like, I am going to create a podcast which will, have the experts, and those experts will be sharing their wisdom with me and my audience. So in the process, I learned a great amount of deals that's for free, and even my audience is learning some great amount of deal. The only cost which they have to pay right now is time. So they have to listen to 30, 40, 50 minutes of episode, but that's the only
Right.
investment they have to make.
Right. Wonderful, wonderful, Aditya. That was really heartening to hear. I liked how you were able to relate to something that you also wanted to learn about. And then there was this part about the greater good, that this is a topic that a lot of people can relate to, that they're looking for information on or looking for tips on, that people are not able to afford. So you want to make it more accessible for everyone, and it gives you personal satisfaction as well, because I believe you're also quite strongly on this personal development journey, and we've had conversations about that. So really great that you were able to choose this as the topic. And honestly, that's what made me interested to interview with you on your podcast, because I'm also so big on this whole self-improvement and habits. And so yeah, I can personally relate for that reason as well. So thanks again. So yeah, let's go into, this whole. So you were doing a job, you are still doing a job. I think you're doing pretty well at what you're doing, and you're able to have this podcast, which is now growing, and you're investing in it, and all of that. So how are you able to juggle both?
Well, it was difficult in the very initial stage, I would say. So, there were like long night hours, probably till 2:30, 3 a.m. I wasn't able to sleep because of the work. But, as time grows, you learn certain things, right? Uh, that's what happened with me, like in the very initial stage, I would say I was interviewing people, but after the interview, the whole process is completely different. Like you go into editing, then there is background noise reduction and everything. So I was like, I am going to give 1 hour extra for learning purpose, so that in the near future I don't have to spend long nights to do this thing.
Right.
So I started learning it. Okay, I invested my time into learning, especially on Saturdays and Sundays.
Hmm.
And now the thing which I was doing, in 4 or 5 hours before, now I'm doing it in 1.5 hours.
Amazing.
So which is yeah, right, which is quite amazing, because I invested my time into learning first, because I didn't wanted to spend long nights again and again. And talking about, see, having a passion is something which always energizes you as well, no matter how tired you are. But when you sit for recording or editing, and when you sit for anything which is your passion, you automatically gets that energy that kicks, like now you are going to do better, at least in this area of life. So that's always motivates me. So there have been days uh, where I was super tired from my job, mentally exhausted. But when I sit for the recording purpose, when I meet some great people, the energy level just boosts up, like now I'm going to perform, so it always comes up with that. And night is always a good time to do anything you want to do. Like people do read books at night, okay, people do write journals at night,
Hmm.
people do certain things at night. Like if they are passionate about cricket, they watch cricket matches at night.
Hmm. Hmm.
Okay, so I'm passionate about podcasting, so I do podcasting at night, right?
Right.
So I think the things which you love the most, you automatically find time for that, and you love doing it, so you are never getting tired to do that. So
Right.
that's how I juggle the things. So it's
Yeah.
wonderful, but
Yeah, another great answer. I'm so glad I have you on here. And I think these are some great answers for people who um, are basically wanting to follow their passion but are stuck somewhere, and wonder where the time will come from, where the energy will come from. That was going to be one of my questions as well. So what I picked up from what you said is, a, if you're passionate about something, it doesn't feel like work. Even if you end up working long hours, you're still going to enjoy it. I totally agree with that personally. The other thing you said is that everybody has free time. You choose what you do in your free time. You may be reading, you may be, watching Netflix or scrolling social media or talking to friends. You choose to spend that time on something which is building towards something. It's your passion project, your hobby. The other thing that I heard from you is that learn, educate yourself, upskill yourself so that it takes less time, and that was really insightful for me. I didn't realize how it was related to the topic. And then I realized that, oh, I spent some extra time in the beginning so that it takes much less time for me on a regular basis. So thanks for that. So yeah, moving on to the metrics in a way about how you've managed to make it grow. Really, for somebody who's beginning, for somebody who's doing it for fun on the weekend and also juggling their job, how do you manage to scale up? How have you managed to monetize it, and what do you envision further?
See, the very first thing about growing, I'm pretty sure each and every person, okay, has a mobile phone which has at least 200 contacts, and that's the least amount,
Mm,
right? I just WhatsApp every one of them, like,
mm,
no matter what. I keep WhatsApp status as well. Okay, so
mm,
see, the thing is, most of the people, and I have heard from my other podcasters friends as well, that they are little shy of sharing what they are doing with their friends and family members and everyone else,
mm,
because they don't know whether it is going to be good or not. This fear was not there in me from the very beginning. So I was like, no matter what, either this is going to be successful or it is going to fail. The
right.
only thing which I'm going to get is a genuine feedback, and if I do get that, I'm just going to go and improve on that. But I am not going to be shameful for sharing things which I'm doing,
Mm,
right? So never be shy about advertising your product. That has been the number one rule in my life.
mm,
Okay,
mm,
so whenever I go on a solo trip, wherever I meet new people, somewhere in the conversation I'll mention my podcast.
mm,
Okay, and then they get curious. Oh, you have a podcast? Where
right.
is it at? Right?
Yes.
Okay, is it there on Spotify? I do listen to podcast every time. So these are the very small things, I would say,
Mm,
but it eventually makes bigger role in your
mm,
development as well. So I'll share this one amazing story which happened to me in Panchgani. Is me and a friend of mine, just udhar hi bane the hum log friends. So over there, I said to him that I have a podcast and I have this many good people, etc., etc. And he was like, he got pretty interested, and he said, let me just grab a bottle and come back. So he went to the room. Meanwhile, while coming back, he met 3 to 4 different people, and he said them that, what, one of my podcaster friend is down there, he's waiting for me. Why don't you guys join us as well? So
right.
you see, that one person shared to 4 other people about my podcast.
Right.
Okay, so when you are not shy about sharing things which you have,
Mm-hmm.
you are automatically growing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so never be shy about sharing things what you do. That's the very first rule.
Mm-hmm.
The second rule which I always follow is, wherever I get the medium of investing as well,
Mm-hmm.
I will invest.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Right.
so in the beginning we all have this slight tingle in the stomach that, oh my god, if I'm putting money into this, will it come back?
Yes.
There is always a little worry about it. But you can start small, like 500, 600, or even 1,000 bucks. Okay, I would say rupees, because this is going international, and I don't want to say
Absolutely.
other people, like, you have to spend dollars on it, so don't do that. uh, but if you can spend, like, 500, 600, or maybe 1,000 rupees in a month
Mm,
as your marketing budget,
mm,
it's going to help you out a lot. So I did, Instagram marketing, Facebook marketing, paid promotion, and everything, so that it basically, I will be creating a brand.
yes.
Okay, so for creating brand, you have to do these things, and I did what needed to be done. Okay,
Mm,
so I spent money as well. I had a spending budget of 1,000 rupees per month.
Hmm.
And I said, like, I'm going to spend at least this much to
Hmm.
make it a brand.
Yes.
Okay. And right now, since I'm monetizing from it, I have increased my budget.
Right.
Okay. So, branding is something which needs investment in both, time as well as money. So I invested time and I invested money as well. So that has been the growth pattern for me.
Wonderful. So I picked up a couple of things. One was, don't be shy, don't be afraid to talk about it, boast about it, share with your friends. It's before you know it, it's going to spread. And the other thing was, don't be afraid to invest. And you can start small. And it was really interesting that you mentioned like 1,000 rupees a month. I think most of us can more than afford it, to the point where it may not even bother us. It's,
Right.
you can just avoid eating out a couple of times or something, and you can spend that money as investment towards something which you feel passionate about. And don't
True.
be afraid of that it may not come back, because if you put your heart and soul into it, it probably will come back. So thank you for those insights. um, so yeah, like, we are coming to the end of this episode, this conversation. It's been full of a lot of insights. Even though I've been on my YouTube channel journey for over a year, I've got to learn quite a bit from you as well. So for anybody who's starting out with either a YouTube channel or a podcast, and is having fears, is having reservations, I may not have enough time, I may not have enough energy, I may not be ready yet, what would be your advice to them?
Well, I would like to say two things. The first thing, do subscribe to this YouTube channel, okay? Because all of you who are listening to this right now, and if you are listening to Ojas's content every time when it comes out, congratulations to you guys, because that's what sincerity is. And you guys are sincere about your career, and you guys are sincere about your growth, and that's the reason you have subscribed to this YouTube channel. So congratulations to you guys, and make sure you keep doing that. The second thing which I would like to add over here is that no matter what, okay, just start. That's the only message I want to give. Okay. Like, I just shared on my Instagram an image saying that perfection is a myth. If someone says that they are perfect, obviously they are wrong.
Hmm.
Okay. Perfection is nearly a myth. Like, we see Amitabh Bachchan today. Okay, he was so good in his early era as well, but if you see him today, he is better than before, because he never stopped learning. So
Right.
obviously perfection is nowhere. So if you are waiting for the perfection,
Mm.
don't do that. You just have to start with what you have. And in the meanwhile, you are going to grow. You are going to learn things which will make you grow, and you are going at the heights. So, first thing, do listen to this good contents. Second thing, just start. Don't wait till you become perfect, because that's never going to come. Just start with what you have, and you are going to learn in the process. Thank you.
Wonderful, wonderful, Aditya. And I totally second that. Making a start. I've had quite a journey as well with my channel, and it took a long time for me to even make a start. But it happened in the moment, right? It was like I was saying, it was over a year ago, and it was very haphazard. It was half prepared. But I'm so grateful to have made that start, because that enabled me to learn. That enabled me to get the ball rolling, and then it just got better and better. And sometimes I'm still stuck. There are times when I feel, oh, I need to be more prepared, or I need to have this or that equipment in place or something. And obviously it's going to get even better all the time. You're going to get better, I'm going to get better. But in the meantime, just keep showing up, and just go ahead and do it, right? So thank you once again.
That explains the bonding between us. You, like, we have the similar story. So that's great. And
Absolutely. And thank you for mentioning to the audience to tune in to this channel. Thank you for doing it, by the way, to make it this far. I would definitely recommend being connected with Aditya on his podcast as well. Some really amazing content there, a lot of interesting people that he's constantly interviewing, some that he finds and reaches out to. And now, because he's growing so much, there are some people that find visibility through him. So a lot of great people that he's speaking to all the time, as well as if you're enthusiastic about self-improvement and personality development, that would be some good insights there as well. That being said, Aditya, how can somebody reach you either personally or your podcast? Where can they find you?
Well, for podcasting, I would say there is a website which is quite simple, anchor.fm/Aditya hyphen Mehta. It's that simple. Okay. Uh, so it's really simple. You will get all the episodes over there, and you can listen out to each and everything. Or on Spotify, you can just type personality development, and over there you will see personality development by Aditya Mehta, and you can always listen to the fresh content every Sunday, on your desk, on your ears. So make sure to do that. Apart from that, yes, they can get connected to me via email. So I always answer my emails. Okay. So that is adi4193@gmail.com. That's as simple as it is. And if you want to get connected with me via Instagram DM, you are always allowed to do that. It's Personality Development Podcast on Instagram. So just make sure to reach out to me, and I'll be really happy to have a conversation with you guys.
Wonderful. Thank you for generously sharing your details. I will be putting that in the description of this video as well. Thank you so much for sharing your time and your insights today, Aditya. Really grateful to have you.
Pleasure is all mine. Thank you so much for having me.
And thank you all for making it until the end, for being here. Hope you found it as enlightening and useful as I did. And hope to see you on the next one. Take care.